Today, you will know 10 curiosities that you surely didn't know. Let's see what is fantastic. Did you know that a chicken can develop in an egg without a shell? As strange as it may sound, it is possible to make a fertilized egg fully develop until it ends up in a healthy chicken without a shell. Game is a relatively simple process that allows anyone to watch the embryo grow and develop inside the egg, using a chemical stabilizer that regulates its growth until it becomes a complete living thing and ready to hatch. Exploring the world is almost magical, how life always finds a way to adapt to everything. Don't you think? This is the worst allergic reaction ever generated on a person's lips. Though it was cosmetic lip surgery, but it's not allergies from the immune system. Overreacting to a substance only known to the body in a nutshell. It's like a person burning down the whole house because they saw a spider in the corner. But instead of the house, it's our body, and instead of the spider, it's actually a pollutant. Well, scientists are still not 100% sure what causes it an allergy, but I think it has to do with the parts of our immune system getting hyperactive due to no longer having contact with as many pathogens as in the past. Whatever it is, always have an antihistamine on hand so it can save your life and live. You have seen having a crocodile as a pet is just a lousy idea. But what if I told you that you can have a lizard that not only looks like a crocodile but is relatively easy to keep well? If such a thing exists, this is this. The 5 red-eyed crocodile. Its name becomes quite obvious when you see it, although some say that it looks more like a dragon of legend than a crocodile. It is native to New Guinea and can be kept in captivity as a pet. Although if you decide to have one, always remember that they are rather shy and like to hide, so you won't see it. This gigantic specimen takes a whole herd of full-grown cows, looks like calves. She is the Australian giant cow, 1.94 meters tall and weighs about 1400 kilos, heavier than a black rhino. She simply couldn't fit in the slaughterhouse facilities, so the owners decided to spare her life and let her live on a ranch in southwest Australia. How astronauts wash their hair? Well, it is more complex than it seems, since without gravity the water behaves like a sphere, and in zero gravity there is no way the water can fall. So basically you have to cut the spheres of water and wash shampoo in the hair through aluminium containers, or like the woman and the bald head in this video do, and dry with the towel. This is how they make fake babies for movies, because there are strict guidelines on how a baby can appear in a movie. Sometimes baby substitutes must be used in some scenes. These babies are made with molds which are filled with silicone and then retouched to make them look much more like realistic. Look at how they look. They are so realistic that they are scary, don't you think? This is how what was called the world's fattest child looks. He is from Indonesia and weighed more than 190 kilos at the young age of 9. Due to an eating disorder, his overweight was such that he could hardly move without help. However, after a strict diet and gastric band surgery, the boy is now able to lead a normal life, and he even practices sports, all thanks to the dedication of his parents who supported him during the process. Makes us think that anything is possible with some dedication and support. Don't you think so? These cows have holes in their stomachs, but you may be wondering why. Well, all this is a scientific method to improve the quality of life of cows in livestock data. The game is called cannula, and it is used to regulate the digestion of cows, since it is very delicate and requires a balance of very delicate intestinal flora that can be easily lost. With the help of cannulas, farmers can help cows regulate their intestinal flora much more easily. What color do you think the albino turtles are? If you said white, let me tell you that you are wrong, because although there are some white albino turtles, in the vast majority of cases, albinism produced yellow or orange color in turtles. In some cases, it produced incredible colors not often seen in other creatures. Albinos look at this. It looks like melted cheese. Albino animals are very rare in nature, since they are easier to detect by predators, and for this reason they do not usually live long. Albino turtles can live a little longer thanks to their This is how plants move in fast motion, thanks to a couple of hormones at the tip of the stem and the roots that are in charge of ordering the plants how to grow. They are produced while the seed germinates, and they accumulate in a very ingenious way, since they always accumulate in the lowest part and in the part that was shade. So when detecting these toxins, as it tips, the plant knows that it must grow downwards in the case of roots and upwards in the case of the stem. If you have ever wanted to fly with migratory birds, you will be happy to know that there is a possibility to do it in real life. And best of all is that by doing this, you will be financing a project to help those same migratory birds with which you will be flying. This is a project of Christian, who is known as the Birdman. He is a fan of birds who, though a long and ingenious work, managed to teach several endangered pygmy geese to fly through new, safer routes. For €600, you can experience a trip with these majestic migratory birds. Have you ever wondered what is the most expensive liquid in the world? Sure, you thought of champagne or synthetic material, but the most expensive liquid in the world could be clear horse semen. We are not talking about any horse semen, but about the semen from the best horses in the world of racing. And it has been theorized that if semen from the best racehorse in the world could be sold, it would be the most expensive liquid in the world, surpassing scorpion venom in price per gallon. However, since purebreds can only reproduce naturally, it's just a theory. Even so, it leaves a lot to think about. Leave your thoughts about this on the comment section below. This is how Google uses smarter alternatives to lawn care. Instead of using lawnmowers, Google hires a herd of goats to eat up the rocks and grass on the land around the headquarters to reduce the risk of fire during the dry months, and they keep the grass under control. It may sound strange, but it is very effective since goats are devourers. They are friendly alternative to the environment. They do not make so much noise, and Google employees report that it is nice to see the goats graze. Well, now Google taught us that you have to think outside of the box. You have seen Lady Gaga's dresses in the first decade of the 2000s. The singer became incredibly famous for the strange clothes she wore to award shows. But none of her strange dresses will be able to beat the time she appeared at VI in May 2010 with a meat dress. And no, it's not the kind that looks like meat, it's real beef. That's right, Lady Gaga wore a dress made of beef steak. She also had to put her dress in freezers. Can you imagine how she must have felt during that dress and how she must have smelled? Have you ever imagined having screens on your clothes? That may not be an exaggeration. Since the innovation of IU, paper and screens can be included in all kinds of unsuspected places, such as in a pair of shoes. That is the case of the software project. Some shoes with the flexible screens that can show the world all kinds of patterns and images. They can be changed with just one click. However, it should be noted that the technology is still a bit clumsy, and those who have financed the projects have complained about how slow it is progressing. So we will have to wait at least a couple more years. Have you ever seen whales jumping out of water? It's one of these tourist attractions that you can't miss. If you pass by a place famous for its sightings of whales, did you know that whales have their versions of fingerprints? Just imagine that. Just as in humans, each fingerprint is unique and unrepeatable. Something similar happens with the tails of humpback whale. These distinctive marks are used by conservationists to keep count of how humpback whales populations are going. So if you are lucky enough to spot whales, look at their tails. They are always unique. The first thing they tell you when you are dealing with heights is not to look down. But that is precisely the point of crossing a glass bridge. And this here is one of the most exciting bridges in the world. It is located near Guangdong province in China. and it offers a great view of the forest and some waterfalls that are down far below the bridge. This is relatively new attraction, but no less impressive or terrifying if you are afraid of heights. I present to you an anamorphic work of art. This anamorphic art makes sense only when seen from a certain point of view, and in certain cases what we see can be different depending on every perspective. We have different points of views, different messages, just like in real life. You not only appreciate the message but also incredible ingenuity of the artist to achieve that effect can be seen from an amazing single point of view. Don't you think so? Have you ever wondered how woodpeckers don't get bruises after drilling a hole in a tree? This is because some of the impact is absorbed by their tongue. The tongue of woodpecker is a marvel of evolution as it is incredibly long. It forks and wraps around the skull, creating an additional layer of protection that absorbs impact. The woodpecker's tongue ends in the kind of a spear which they use to catch worms and other creatures that hide in the wood of the trees. Do you like hot chocolate or do you like marshmallows? Well, if the answer is yes, you can't miss the Chin Chin ice cream parlor in London. It is a unique and unrepeatable delight that went viral a few years back. It is made with well-loaded Valrhona chocolate and has a huge ball instead of roasted marshmallows on top. Though be careful eating, it is a messy, disastrous experience as the chocolate and marshmallow are going to jump everywhere. So we do not advise you to wear white clothes when you try it. Now tell us in the comments what was the curiosity that you liked the most. If you thought that the video is great, please share it with your friends and subscribe so that you and everyone can learn something new every day here. And don't forget to hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one.